In late January 1959, a team of 10 Soviet students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by radio engineering student Igor Dyatlov, set off on a winter ski trek across the northern Ural Mountains. One member, Yuri Yudin, turned back sick on January 28th, leaving 9 hikers, 7 men and 2 women, under Dyatlov's command. On February 1st, the group camped on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, Dead Mountain, after a blizzard disoriented them. They dug a snow pit and pitched their tent on a steep, open slope rather than descend into nearby forest cover. According to diaries and photos, this was their last known location. January 25, 1959. The party arrives at Ivdel, the last town before the wilderness, and prepares for the trek. January 27th. The 9-member group, after Yudin's departure, officially begins the ski trek. January 31st. The hikers reach a highland area and cache extra supplies for the return journey. February 1st. A severe snowstorm blows in. The group loses its intended route and climbs the slope of Kholat Syakhl. Facing deep snow and freezing winds, Dyatlov decides to camp on the bare slope late that day. February 2nd. Night. Something unexplained prompts the hikers to cut open their tent from the inside and flee the campsite into the blizzard wearing little clothing. None of them were seen alive again. February 26th. A rescue team finally reaches the site. They find the tent half buried in snow, ripped open from the inside, with all the hikers' boots and warm gear left behind. Investigators follow 9 footprints, some barefoot, some in socks or a single shoe, leading from the tent toward a nearby forest. February 26th. Roughly 500 meters from the tent, under a large pine tree at the edge of the woods, the searchers find the first 2 bodies, Alexander Krivonyshenko and Yuri Doroshenko. Both are shoeless and dressed only in underwear. Nearby, a small fire is still smoldering, and broken branches high in the tree suggest a hiker climbed it, perhaps to look for the campsite. February 26th. A short distance beyond the tree, 3 more bodies are discovered. Dyatlov himself and hikers Lyudmila Kolmogorova and Zenaida Slobodin. These 3 lie 300 to 630 meters from the tree, in positions indicating they were trying to return toward the tent when they died. All were also underdressed for the extreme cold. May 4th, 1959. After prolonged searching, the remaining 4 bodies are found buried under about 4 meters of snow in a ravine approximately 75 meters beyond the pine tree. These hikers, including Lyudmila Dubinina, Nikolai Thibault-Brignol, Semyon Zolotaryov, and Rustem Slobodin, are dressed much more warmly than the first 5. Notably, some are wearing clothing taken from their dead companions. For instance, Dubinina is found wearing Krivonyshenko's burned, torn trousers. On February 26, almost 2 weeks after the hikers were due back, rescuers located the group's campsite. The tent was torn open from the inside and partially collapsed under snow. Intriguingly, all the hikers' belongings and shoes were still inside, as if they had fled in haste. From the tent, 9 sets of footprints, some barefoot or in socks, led away toward the tree line. Following these tracks, searchers soon found the first bodies under a pine tree in the forest. Krivonyshenko and Doroshenko lay side by side, shoeless and wearing only underwear, next to the remains of a fire. The broken tree limbs suggested one of them had climbed to look for help. A few hundred meters away, the bodies of Igor Dyatlov, Lyudmila Kolmogorova, and Zenaida Slobodin were found. These victims were farther from the tree, up to 630 meters, and were posed as if trying to walk back toward the camp. On May 4th, deep excavation uncovered the last 4 hikers, buried under about 4 meters of snow in a ravine off the path. These 4 were dressed in warm clothing, some taken from the first victims. Dubinina, for example, wore Krivonyshenko's charred, torn trousers and had another victim's jacket wrapped around her leg. A medical inquest revealed stark differences between the 2 groups. The first 5 found near the tree showed no fatal injuries. All were diagnosed to have died from hypothermia, freezing. Dyatlov himself had only a minor skull crack. In contrast, the 4 found later had catastrophic internal trauma. 1, Thibault-Brignol, suffered a major skull fracture, and 2, Dubinina and Zolotaryov, had massive chest fractures. A forensic expert noted the force required was comparable to a high-speed car crash, yet there were no external wounds, as if extreme pressure had crushed their bodies. The faces of all four were also mutilated post-mortem. Dubinina's tongue, lips, and eyes were gone, and similar tissue was missing from the others. Investigators attributed these to scavenging animals after death, since the damage appeared post-mortem. Investigators concluded that all 9 left the tent voluntarily and died several hours later from exposure. The official inquest, closed in May 1959, noted 6 of the group members died of hypothermia and 3 of fatal injuries. No signs of another party or struggle were found, only the hikers' own tracks were present. With no culprit identified, authorities quietly ruled that a compelling natural force had caused the deaths. The case files were sealed in a secret archive, and the area was closed for years. For decades, the Dyatlov Pass incident remained unsolved, spawning many theories. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case to test natural explanations, and in 2020, the prosecutor's office announced that an avalanche was the most likely trigger. Investigators proposed that a slab of wind-packed snow slid onto the tent, waking the skiers. This would explain why they cut out and fled without coats. The falling snow might have quickly covered the tent entrance. They ran to the nearby woods and built a fire, but ultimately froze. Independent simulations by Swiss scientists, Gaume and Puzrin, later showed how a slab avalanche on that slope, caused by wind-loaded snow over a weak layer, could indeed produce the injuries and scenario observed. A memorial tomb for the 9 hikers was erected at Mikhailovskoye Cemetery in Yekaterinburg. On the mountainside, a simple monument of a rock now marks the spot where their final camp was located. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a haunting chapter in mountaineering history. Officially closed as an avalanche tragedy, it still stands as an intriguing, unsolved mystery to this day. Surprising details, the cut-open tent, missing clothing, strange injuries, etc., continue to fascinate researchers and the public alike.